Big leak today as Anthropic confirms a new model that is a step change in capabilities from even Opus. Late-breaking one last night, a data leak revealed that Anthropic is testing a new model referred to as Claude Mythos. Anthropic has confirmed the existence of this model, with a spokesperson saying that it was a step change, their words, in performance and, quote, the most capable we've built to date. They said the model is currently being trialed by early access customers. So here's what happened. On Thursday evening, a draft blog post describing the model was left in an unsecured publicly searchable database. The blog post says, "We've finished training a new AI model, Claude Mythos. It's by far the most powerful AI model we've ever developed. Mythos," they write, "is a new name for a new tier of model, larger and more intelligent than our Opus models, which were, until now, our most powerful. We chose the name to evoke the deep connective tissue that links together knowledge and ideas. Compared to our previous best model, Claude Opus 4.6, Mythos gets dramatically higher scores on tests of software coding, academic reasoning, and cybersecurity, among others. In preparing to release Claude Mythos, however, they say, we want to act with extra caution and understand the risks it poses, even beyond what we learn in our own testing. In particular, we want to understand the model's potential near-term risks in the realm of cybersecurity and share the results to help cyber defenders prepare. Mythos is also a large compute-intensive model. It's very expensive for us to serve and will be very expensive for our customers to use. We're working to make the model much more efficient before any general release. For those reasons, we're taking a slower, more gradual approach to releasing Mythos than we have with our other models. We're beginning with a small number of early access customers who will explore the model's cybersecurity applications and report back what they find." Now, this blog post is very undercooked. It ends not too long after that. Now, if you hear the term capybara thrown around, apparently the model was also referred to as that. I'm not sure if capybara was the code name and Mythos is the intended launch name, but regardless, this draft blog post was in a cache of unsecured documents. In total, Fortune reports there appear to be close to 3,000 assets linked to Anthropic's blog that had not previously been published. Now, there is a lot of chatter about this one, not least of which is the choice of name, which many people associate with the Cthulhu mythos, which, given how much the AI safety folks use those sort of literary reference points to describe their concerns about AI, may not be the most advised name. People also compared it to the recently revealed Spud from OpenAI, with Jason Botterill writing, "I like how Anthropic's mysterious spooky new model is codenamed Mythos, while OpenAI named theirs after a frickin' potato." Still, the broader sentiment was captured by Gavin Purcell, who says, "It will only go faster from here." Obviously, there will be a lot to watch with this one. Unfortunately, for those of us who want to get our hands on the most powerful models at any given time, it kind of looks like the blog post was not even an announcement of the release of the model, just an advanced warning about it. So who knows how long it'll take before we actually see it in practice. Now, one model that is available now, Google has dropped a small voice model that could have big implications. The model is Gemini 3.1 Flash Live, which brings real-time dialogue to voice models. Up until now, most voice models have been turn-based, causing awkward stumbles and terrible interruption handling. Flash Live is designed to work more like a human conversation, with a continuous back and forth rather than a jarring, stilted experience. The model apparently shows a step change improvement on multiple audio benchmarks, including one designed to measure multi-step function calling. That's the feature that converts voice commands into complex agentic actions. Some customers like Home Depot have already deployed the model, and Google noted a big improvement in handling complex details like alphanumeric product codes in noisy environments. Still, the obvious implication is the quality of personal voice agents on mobile devices, and especially given that Apple is looking to Gemini to power the new version of Siri, the long winter of our discontent of Siri not understanding a single damn word we say may finally be coming to an end. One small product announcement from Shopify that I actually think could be fairly significant. One of my weirder or more out there predictions for 2026 was that I thought that Shopify has kind of an outsized role to play in the positive normalization of AI. The reason for that is that Shopify is where a ton of small business entrepreneurship lives. Shopify's tools have already, even in the pre-AI era, given people who felt overwhelmed by what they needed to do to start a business enough help to get over the hump. Although, as you well know, I am not a jobs doomer, I do think that we're going to see a lot of shifts in the average way that people get employed and make money. One piece of that, I believe, will be an increase in small business entrepreneurship. If Shopify is the home of where a lot of that new energy goes, the way that they use AI to provide value for their people could make a big difference in people's perceptions of it. It's one thing when the only thing you hear about AI is that it's going to take your job and it uses all the water. It's another thing when you see your income rise 30% from the month before because of the tools you were able to use through your store's hosting platform. So what Tinker is a free mobile app with more than 100 AI tools for e-commerce. Merchants can generate logos, product photos, advertising videos, and much more. It's an iterative, experimental, playful canvas where you can try out all sorts of different brand identities, product placements, and more. The entire concept is about flattening the learning curve. Apps are arranged by outcome, so merchants only need to select what they want to create. Once inside an app, they can see a range of examples demonstrating what it can do and how to use it. They can then describe a desired outcome in natural language, drop in a reference image, and Tinker automatically turns those inputs into high-quality prompts on the back end. Shopify's director of product Rousseau Kazi said, "If you want more artists, lower the cost of paint." And cost isn't just money. It's the time spent keeping up, the friction of signing up for everything separately, and the learning curve of figuring it all out. We wanted to lower all of it. So like I said, may seem small, but I really do believe that Shopify potentially has an outsized role to play in the positive integration of AI into the broader economy. And I think Tinker, from my first glances, looks awesome. By the way, hopefully this goes without saying, but this is a completely unsponsored opinion. Over in OpenAI land, Codex gets a big upgrade with the integration of plugins. The OpenAI devs account writes, "With plugins, Codex can now support more real work, including the planning, research, and coordination that happens before you write code and the workflows that follow." The team at OpenAI also used the occasion of the plugin's launch to go for Anthropic's throat around some controversy of recent changes from Claude. Tariq from the Claude code team writes, "To manage growing demand for Claude, we're adjusting our 5-hour session limits for free Pro Max subs during peak hours. During weekdays between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time, you'll move through your 5-hour session limits faster than before." People were not happy about that, and OpenAI took full advantage. Thibaut from the Codex team writes, "Hello. We have reset Codex usage limits across all plans to let everyone experiment with the magnificent plugins we just launched. You can just build unlimited things with Codex. Have fun." Speaking of OpenAI, the company has made a decision which I think is extremely the right one, putting their erotica plans on hold. The Financial Times reports that OpenAI has decided to shelve plans for adult mode indefinitely as they consolidate resources around coding and enterprise sales. This is, to put it mildly, not all that surprising. Earlier this month, the Wall Street Journal reported that OpenAI's Independent Advisory Council was unanimously against the feature. Reportedly, their age detection system had a 12% failure rate, and the experts on the council weren't even satisfied adult mode would be safe for adults, warning it could encourage an unhealthy emotional dependence on ChatGPT. The feature was also controversial among staff, with some departing the company over the issue. Speaking with the Financial Times, sources said that OpenAI wanted to have more long-term research on the effects of sexually explicit chatbots and emotional attachment to AI before they release the product. Now, my feeling about this, as I said last fall, is that on the one hand, I have a very socially libertarian bent that basically thinks that adults should be able to do whatever they want as long as it's not hurting other people. That said, viewing this question from an entrepreneur's lens, it did not make sense to me for OpenAI to be the one to offer this. There is going to be, I promise you, no shortage of adult AI experiences that are available to any adults who want them. And I just think that all of the costs of going down this route were so obviously going to be higher than the upside for OpenAI. So one other thing that I did want to note about OpenAI's recent moves, there is a lot of chatter right now about how many products are being killed by OpenAI. Instant Checkout, Sora, the erotic chatbot, with people seeming to suggest that it's the company flailing. I think in many ways it's the opposite. It would be the worst business decision that OpenAI could make to stick with something that wasn't the right move, even if it looked like the right move just a couple of months ago. Nothing will kill a business faster than sunk cost fallacy, and OpenAI being willing to scrap efforts even where a lot of effort went in is net-net a good thing for that company. And it couldn't come at a better time because boy oh boy is the competition going to do nothing but heat up. Latest rumors suggest that Anthropic is discussing going public as soon as the fourth quarter, with follow-up Bloomberg reporting saying that they might be looking to IPO as soon as October. That, of course, puts OpenAI on the clock, as Sam Altman has reportedly said he would prefer to go first, meaning all in all, I think my prediction that we actually don't get IPOs this year might be one that is wrong. Noel Moldve writes, according to the Zodiac, 2026 is the year of the mega IPO. Indeed. For now, that is going to do it for the headlines. Next up, the main episode.